Uncertainty reigns over whether proceedings will go ahead at the biggest climate change conference in Brazil on Friday. Delegates from over 190 countries have been meeting at the venue since last week to discuss ways of tackling climate change. Proceedings were supposed to come to an end on Friday. However, a fire broke out at the African pavilion of the venue, leading to organizers cancelling proceedings on Thursday afternoon. A witness who was at the venue told Newzroom Afrika what he saw when the commotion unfolded.
I was filming the talk, and while I was focusing on one of the speakers, I noticed just behind him, not even right by his back, I noticed the white fabric suddenly turn orange. And in an instant I knew what had happened. A fire had broken out, and a fire just in seconds, because there's a lot of fabric, a stretch fabric kind of material, and a lot of airflow because there's lots of air conditioning. And in a few seconds, it had burned the roof of the stand off. Within about a minute, it had burned the stand down completely.
The fire became the latest cause of delays at a conference already riddled by stalemates over crucial negotiating points. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres had to even hold an 11th-hour briefing to remind countries on Thursday what is at stake if consensus is not reached.
No delegation will leave Belém with everything it wants, but every delegation has a duty to reach a balanced deal. First, on protecting people. For millions, adaptation is not an abstract goal. It is the difference between rebuilding and being swept away.
Despite the finish line being in sight, over 190 countries have yet to reach an agreement on several important discussion points. Guterres reminded them of the commitments they made when they signed the landmark Paris Agreement a decade ago. This agreement aims to limit global warming well below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels and pursue efforts to keep it below 1.5 degrees Celsius without setting a specific time frame. 10 years on, he said that the promises made had not been kept.
10 years after the Paris Agreement, we have moved, but nowhere near enough. The UNEP emissions gap report shows that today's nationally determined contributions, even if fully implemented, would put us on a path well above 2 degrees of global warming. And that is a death sentence for many.
Most of the areas of disagreement include the roadmap for phasing out fossil fuels. Climate finance, particularly how developed countries may help developing countries adapt to extreme weather changes, also remain a stumbling block. A coalition of 13 countries, including Kenya, has agreed to impose a tax on those using private jets and flying business class to use such funds for climate finance.
I think it's really a good thing if we can tax polluters. We always need to make sure that polluters should pay. And if you are flying business class or first class or even in a private jet, you are polluting a lot.
Despite there being only one day of negotiations left, the UN leadership and the President of Brazil remain confident that resolutions will be reached. For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Juniour Khumalo in Belém, Brazil.